Good morning to you. I am Mark Sudduth, and here's what's up in the tropics. It is Sunday, the 14th of August, 2022. In the western Gulf of Mexico, we have Invest Area 98L. It almost became a tropical depression. You can see that here on the long-range radar loop out of Corpus Christi, and it just ran out of time. It had a little bit longer over water. It was well on its way to tightening up there, which they often do, these systems, as they approach Texas perpendicularly. But the good news is it's bringing some beneficial rains to the area without all of the headaches of a tropical storm or a hurricane. Some onshore flow did bring a little bit of coastal flooding to some of the more prone areas. But other than that, this is an example of when you can get beneficial rains from a system that, in this case, it's moving too. It's not going to stall. Yes, there will be some localized flooding in some of the heavier bands, but otherwise this is a very positive thing to see, especially since it didn't have time to ramp up and become anything stronger. Looking at the vorticity signature here, lots of areas to watch. Over in the eastern Pacific, that's Tropical Depression 10E. There's the vort signature, as we call it, for the Invest Area 98L. And then we have a system, a little bit of a signature off the southeast coast. We'll have to watch that as it tries to develop into somewhat of a coastal storm that's going to head up towards New England and the offshore waters in that area. I'll talk about that more in my hurricane outlook and discussion video later today. And then out in the deep tropics, there's a couple of areas that we need to keep an eye on. Anytime you have these vorticity signatures, this potential area of energy in the deep tropics at the peak time of hurricane season, which we're coming up on, you can't ignore them. They may show up somewhere else, even if they don't develop where they are. All right, in the East Pac, again, there's 10E being sheared from strong winds coming out of the east. So it's not going to amount to much more than what you see there. And then the broad picture here of the satellite animation covering much of the Atlantic Basin. There is Invest Area 98L over in the Western Gulf. I tell you what, it had the outflow. It was coming together with low-level convergence. The deeper thunderstorms were there. It simply ran out of time. And as I said before, the benefit here is that rainfall without the rest of the headaches. There's a little bit of a cluster of storms developing off the southeast coast. We'll have to see what happens with that over the next couple of days or so. I think it's going to be more of what we call a baroclinic system, so more of a mid-latitude type storm than a true warm, concentrated tropical type storm. Again, I'll talk about that in my hurricane outlook and discussion later today. Meanwhile, the tropical Atlantic generally quiet as per the satellite animation, but as I showed you, the vorticity signature shows that there is some energy out there. It might be void of convection now, but later on, several days down the road, you never know. And that brings me to this. A tweet here from Andy Hazelton. Probably the only chance of a tropical cyclone happening over the next week or so might be from the tropical wave, and that's that vorticity I showed you, near the islands when it moves into the Bay of Campeche. Some of the model guidance is indicating the possibility that this tries to develop. We shall see, because the eastern main development region looks barren, too much stable air out there for at least the next week or so. All right, that is it from me for this morning for the What's Up segment. Again, I'll be back this afternoon with a more in-depth look at everything with the hurricane outlook and discussion. I'm Mark Sudduth. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you later today.